Good morning, welcome to the Option XC webinar. I'm Ben Newman. The date is the 3rd of June and it's 10:18 Central European summertime. Now yesterday we started off very well, and then the afternoon's webinar not so good at all, but what we did do is manage to recover that. So hopefully anyone that managed to copy the recovery trades that I made would have been well in profit. In fact, I ended yesterday at over $600 in profit in all. So it wasn't a bad day all in all, although the afternoon webinar we had to do some recovery trades to put that right. That's going to happen in trading sometimes, so hopefully you learn from that. As long as we don't panic and we just assess the situation correctly, often we can just recover that, make sure that we're not in loss. If anyone wants any more information about that, then let me know, I can provide it. So moving on to today, and there's a load of events happening today that are going to give us opportunity to trade. Just looking at this Australian US dollar chart here, and we can see yet again, second night in a row, that Australian dollar seen a massive hike when the GDP data was released. So hugely positive, and it's just sat at that level. So again, you place trades before that event or just as it occurred, you're going to get almost guaranteed trades there. So worth getting up in the middle of the night for, or certainly worth being in attendance for if you're on that side of the world. It's what I used to do when I traded full time. I'd get up for certain events that were occurring, but especially with the Aussie and New Zealand dollar, they're really lucrative, very predictable impact that we can capitalise on. So is anyone new to the webinar today? Just anyone that hasn't been on one before or hasn't had any level of training, I'd be grateful if you could let me know, and I can go through the different parameters of the software. And also any of you that obviously are regular attendees, please just let me know that obviously you can see and hear me. At the moment I don't know whether you can, so if people could let me know, that would be great. Okay, perfect. And also if you've got any questions, do interact with me, ask the questions as we're going through. I'm happy to answer them, and it means everyone gets more benefit from the webinars. Perfect, thanks for the response as well, guys. Coming through, I haven't got these pairs turned on currently. This is from when I was just having a look a bit earlier. Now, so I'm going to clear those signals, and as always, we use market first, market information, what opportunities is the market giving us. Then we look at the charts, what sort of trends is the market giving us to trade on. Okay, so and then third and finally, and only really if we need them, these signals kind of to confirm the analysis we've made and really confirm a decision on whether to make a trade or not. Okay, so I will go through that as we go on. Now, what I'm going to do is just pull up my financial calendar, and we'll have a look at what's going on today. There's loads of events happening today, starting with that GDP data here, very positive. I'm just having a look here. Forecast was 0.7% growth, and in fact it ended up being 0.9. That's the first positive growth for a few. Well, what are we looking at? Yes, so since last year, in fact, September last year. So the last quarter of last year was bad, so as the first quarter of this year, and only now is the Australian economy seeing some growth. So very positive indeed. We've got ongoing, we've got PMI, Purchasing Managers Indexes for services. Okay, now these are really important. We've got, first of all, Spanish, then Italian, then French, and then German, and then we've got the whole of Europe's final services PMI figures there, all of which were positive. So again, it's going to be very positive for the euro. We've got Italian employment rates are up. Okay, against forecast figures. So, sorry, unemployment rate is down, so employment is up essentially. And then coming up in 8 minutes time, we've got the UK services PMI, followed by retail sales, unemployment rate in Europe as well. So there's a whole load of stuff happening today, and then throughout this afternoon, the auto data processing non-farm employment change, Canadian trade balance, European central bank press conference, then the US dollar trade balance. So there's a whole load of stuff happening today. So we should have tons of opportunity. Really selecting the right ones is going to be the difficult part. So don't try and take them all. Hi Abdi. Yeah, don't try and take them all. Let's make sure that we're selective and calculated with the ones that we look at. Now, what we should start seeing, I'm going to start methodically going through these. Euro GBP first of all. Now, there's lots of stuff going on with both these currencies, and this is why it's so erratic here, so we're not going to pay any attention to that. But what we'll start seeing, I think, is, well, the Euro JPY as well, very erratic. So we've just got to leave these alone. Euro USD, again, really nothing to go at because there's so much financial activity today. This is why we almost get to a point where it's impossible to trade, just because of the amount that's going on. Now the GBP JPY is the one that looks most like a reliable trend at the moment, and that the pound looking like it's strengthened against the JPY. We can see it here, but it just dipped back down. So for this, we will need to wait until the London market opens to see how that progresses. A GBP USD, again, it's a similar pattern. I mean, the pound's been stronger overall against the dollar, and now it's bounced up. It's following that similar pattern to the JPY. So I'm going to turn that on so we'll get any signals from that when London opens. Then look at the New Zealand US dollar. Now, the US dollar is really driving this trend down. Now, this is the most opportunity I've seen in any of them so far. And then probably we'll get a similar pattern with the, well, looking at that now, on H1, we can see the New Zealand dollar is at a high point. So it's overdue for the US dollar to start coming back at this. So this is the best opportunity I've seen so far. All right, and let's just have a quick look at the Aussie US dollar, see if that's following a similar pattern. Often it will be when it changes. Yeah, not quite. I mean, this is probably going to start coming down as well. Let's have a look at an H1 chart. Yeah, so we can see how high the Australian dollar is against the US dollar over a 3-day period. And that means that this trend is going to start coming down as well, I'm pretty sure. So, they're the two best opportunities I can see at the moment. We will get more once London opens, but at the moment, I'm going to tee trades up with the New Zealand US dollar here on my bottom row of the charts, and not going to place them just yet because I want to see just what occurs over the next 15 minutes or so after London opens. But I'm just going to tee up the bottom row to take advantage of this New Zealand US dollar, which is the one that's looking most reliable at this stage. Oh, that 930, there we go. I don't want 560, a bit excessive. But it's starting, you can see really that it is starting to come down quite considerably. I just want to have another look at that. Look, so we can see here US dollar really driving this down. So I think that actually this is a good trade to place right now. There we go, so it's loading my two. So it's better to have the two platforms open, then you've got some variation. This one is giving us 9 o'clock, but actually only giving us 2 options for expiry, and that tells me that the broker knows something as well. They're not giving huge availability for this pairing. So I think this is in fact, it's not even giving me the availability for this. Right, so that tells me that there's something going on. So it tells me really that probably this is more predictable than I've given it credit for. We can see that the Australian dollar is a bit less predictable, but it's giving us better expiry time. So I'm going to place a longer trade on that in favour of the US dollar. We can see that's coming down. I'm going to get these trades placed. So we've got New Zealand US dollar put trades where we have got the 9 o'clock availability. Very little expiry options available on this, as you can see, and that's because I think probably the brokers are well aware how predictable this is. So what they tend to do is limit the expiry options to basically limit your ability to trade, and that usually means that there's it is highly predictable, put it that way. So there we go. So I've got those trades placed. Now I'm going to go back and we're going to start focusing on the. So hopefully everyone got those. Did everyone manage to understand what I was doing there? New Zealand US dollar put trades, but I did place one with the Aussie US dollar purely because one of the brokers wasn't giving us any expiry options. Did that all make sense to everyone? If I could get some response, that would be great. Maybe not. Okay. Or maybe you're busy placing the trades, I'm not sure. Okay, perfect. All right, I just want to make sure that every step of the way you understand, because I get feedback saying that people can't follow it, and I can't understand why, because I do explain everything step by step, and certainly no one comes back to me saying I don't understand, or it's not very often that happens. So I want to make sure that you do understand every step of the way. Now the USD Canadian is giving us good opportunity here as well. Now let's have a look at this. The Canadian been very dominant of the US dollar over the past few days, and the USD Canadian trend tends to move in this sort of stepping movement, and then we'll see the US dollar start to climb against it again. So let's have a look at an M15 chart and we'll see what I mean. Here, look, it's starting to climb now quite rapidly, and because these trends are not active, they're not, well, sorry, the currencies are not active at the moment. It gives them a little more predictability when they're moving in there. If they were just kind of flat, then obviously we've got nothing to work with. But because these are moving in a nice steady upward movement, and we know that neither of the currencies are active at the moment, that gives us an advantage. It means that they do have a high level of predictability. Now, I'm just going to have a look what's happened with the GBP at the moment, because let's have a look at the Euro GBP. Right, well this has gone through the roof. The Euro has gone through the roof here. So here are trades. We're going to wait for correction on these, and in fact my chart has stopped. We can see that the chart has stopped. Let's just try and change it. It's not letting me just because of this massive activity here. New Zealand dollar trade looking good, so let's have a look at GBP, JPY. I think it's again it's the euro that's very strong. GBP gone very weak. This is what's happened here. So let's just have a look at those figures. Yeah, the GBP has plummeted because the services PMI is way down on forecast figures. So that probably means this is going to carry on dropping. And I'm just trying to establish what's the best currency to start placing trades against the GBP here. Probably the US dollar, because that looks like it's continuing to strengthen. But it's leveled out now a little bit. It's leveled out a little bit, and it's probably going to come back a fair amount. So let's just give it a bit of time and see how that occurs. But certainly it appears there's more. That's a huge drop. But it certainly appears that there's more reliability in. I wish we could look on this chart. It's not allowing me to at the minute. Yeah, there's more reliability in the non-active currency pairings. But I can't look at them at the moment. So here's the Euro GBP, and the GBP will come back somewhat, I'm sure, but to what level I don't know, and it may be that the Euro just carries on climbing. Really, we need to see a historic view of this. Yeah, so just having a look at just trying to get a gauge of really which way this is going to go at the moment. Obviously our New Zealand US dollar trades are looking okay. Let's just have a look at the other ones. The GBP JPY and the GBP USD, where is it? There it is. There, so this is sort of leveled out now. So probably we're going to see the pound start to gain a little bit. I'm going to wait for that to happen. and then we should be able to place some trades with the pound. I think it will. I'm just going to give it a bit of time because it's only 3 minutes into London market opening, and those PMI figures were significantly down, so this could continue to rise. I really need the Optionbot chart to start working, become the hindrance now that I can't view this. So just a bit of a waiting game to see which way these go. I think the pound will start to strengthen a little bit, and in fact, based on that, I'm going to get some trades placed. I think it will. So I'm going to get some trades placed in favour of the pound. I think it will come back somewhat. We've got retail sales figures coming up, and let's just get a few of these placed. I think with the US dollar as well. I'm going to place smaller trades on these, all right, the $25 trades, and that just shows that I think these carry a little more risk than the others. Euro USD, nothing to go at really. Let's have a look at GBP JPY. Again, I think the pound will start to strengthen against this, probably more so against the yen. So I'm going to base that with a, there we go, there's another $25 trade at 750 there, but it is $25. And then GBP USD, let's just see what occurs with this. I think the pound will see some recovery over the next 25 minutes, which is where I'll base in these trades. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the final set of trades with the USD Canadian, I think, once our charts recover. So this will sit around the same level, but it's why we place this trade in this position, all right, so that we can capture the movement when it happens, and I think it will. But there we go, all of them green at the moment. So hopefully everyone's managed to capture that. Actually, the yen started to strengthen against the pound now. Let's have a look. But the pound is strengthening against the euro. There we go. It's going back up now. So it's exactly what I predicted. There we go. And the pound strengthening against the US dollar now. It's a perfect time when we're getting signals to confirm what we've just forecast. Has everyone followed what I'm doing there? Because that was as textbook as you can get in terms of analysing the trends correctly and then placing these trades to take advantage of the counter movement, which is now occurring. We're getting signals to confirm that. So that's as perfect as you can get in terms of capturing that counter movement before it happens. And then the signals come in, confirm what we've analysed and executed. And of course, we've got a series of successful trades now. This New Zealand US dollar still dropping. So hopefully you've managed to capitalise on that as well. There, the Euro GBP, we can see huge movement. But I'm just going to go back to the USD Canadian for a minute because I think this is going to carry on going up, and indeed it looks like it is. So let's have a look at this USD Canadian, and I want to take advantage of this now. Oh, and sure enough, it's not giving me any expiries at all, which just shows how predictable that is actually. The GBP USD, so the US dollar is quite, it's certainly quite strong. It's holding strength against the pound, where the euro and the yen are not, which we can see. The yen, well, almost the same as the pound actually, but that should be okay. I think the pound will recover from that. So really, the best options we've got at the moment are this New Zealand US dollar, which is continuing to drop, and I think that's where I'm going to place another set of trades. I'm just going to see how this trade with the and the Aussie dollar looking very good as well. The GBP you can see strengthening. We're getting more signals telling us that that's happening. Very good indeed. But I think the other trade is going to be the Aussie US dollar, and that's going to be my final trades here, because I think this is the saying that the New Zealand dollar is a better option, I think. So the only one that wasn't giving me expiry times here was the, so we can see the GBP strengthening now. That's exactly what we want to see. Counter movement. Abdi, why are you confused? We've used counter movement, okay, so we've basically gone in, we've analysed the movement at London market opening, and then we've used the, right, well Abdi, everyone else is following me perfectly okay. So Abdi, what we can do is provide you with some extra training, okay, if that's what's required. I'll go over it again, Abdi, but basically we've used this movement at London market opening, okay, where the pound has weakened massively. There's been a negative announcement on the services PMI in the UK, okay, and we've waited for the counter movement on that. So if we look at the Euro GBP, okay, we can see this huge movement up by the euro against the pound. This is the pound weakening, and then we've gone in and placed our trades when that movement has reached its peak. Okay, so we placed it in favour of the pound to take advantage of this movement back. So we had a huge movement up. Are you following this now, Abdi? Yeah, so we're a huge movement up. We waited till it got to a peak, and we traded with the pound in the other direction. So we're taking advantage of this movement back by the pound. Does that make sense? Okay, well that's exactly what I've done. And of course we've also got these signals that have come in to confirm what we've already analysed and traded. So this just tells us that we were absolutely right in the decision we made to in the decisions we made to place those trades. Does that all make sense? Abdi, does that all make sense to you? Okay, so that's all we've done. That's all we've done. The New Zealand US dollar trades and the Aussie US dollar trades, all we've done on these is place them in the on longer term trades. Okay, well slightly longer, 40 minutes or so. With the fact that the US dollar is strengthening after this huge movement by the Aussie dollar. So this huge movement up when the GDP figures were released, and now we're using the slow movement back down by the US dollar to capitalise on that, okay? So that's all we're doing. We're just using logic to say, look, this has gone up a huge amount, it's going to start coming back down slowly, let's place trades to follow that downward movement, and then we're going to get successful trades. So we place them over longer terms, 30 or 40 minute time periods, and sure enough we're going to get results from that. So here we go, the pound's still strengthening, so I think this is where I'm going to place my final trades. In fact, I'm so confident of this movement by the pound now that I'm going to take a larger trade. It's entirely up to you what you place on these trades. So it's the GBP, the Euro GBP, and the GBP JPY are the ones that are providing the best opportunity here, I think. So I'm going to carry on placing trades with these, and we'll have a look what profit we've got. So I basically will use the trades, the movement. So the movement by the pound. So the pound just weakening slightly now. So we should get these. Yeah, so just slightly dropping away. We've got another 20 minutes on these trades. The Aussie US dollar is really the one that's that we want to follow, I think, but whether we get expiry times on it is another matter. I think overall, let's place some longer trades on this. So Australian US dollar, we're just following this movement by the US dollar, but placing slightly longer trades on it. In fact, let's just have a look. It looks like it's moving down at such a rate that probably I can place shorter trades on it. So I'm going to do that. Obviously, we're relying on this coming down on our other trades anyway. But that's where I'm going to focus my final trades is on that Australian US dollar. The New Zealand US dollar, which is a more reliable option, I think we're not getting expiry times on. I think for obvious reasons, you know, we're in a situation where that is a very reliable trade, and because of that, the broker is limiting the expiry options available. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and place these to make sure that our final trades on this Aussie US dollar, we can see that the pound has weakened slightly, but overall This US dollar is continuing to strengthen against the Aussie dollar. So, what was the Euro GBP? What do you mean, what was the Euro GBP? Paul? Well, I've placed Euro GBP trades, okay, but they've become, look, yeah, there's the Euro GBP trade. We're relying on strength of the pound, okay, to pull this back up, which will probably continue, but it's going to take a bit of time. The reason I didn't dwell on those is because they're higher risk trades, okay, they're larger amounts of the higher risk trades. So what we're relying on, it's a bit late really to the original Euro GBP one, which I placed at this strike point here, long time ago, so we captured a lot of that movement down. The more reliable trades are the Aussie US dollar trades, okay? So I didn't dwell on that because I don't want you placing trades of high risk. They're really as a test here, but the more reliable trades at the moment, certainly the Aussie US dollar, okay? So we can see that's still moving down. New Zealand US dollar, which is definitely the most reliable there. We've got 4 trades placed now. The yen has started to strengthen, as has the US dollar against the pound, but we're hoping these will come back in. So we've got a kind of mixture of green and red at the moment. Not looking too bad. These ones are all in the green. And we can see that. So we've got, of our trades placed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the green, okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in the red. So we've got very high percentage of these trades are in the money for us. I think these ones will come back into the money as well. The pound looks like it's just holding strength and it's probably going to start to turn again. So all of these looking good for us. This GBP JPY, the yen has just started to strengthen, as is the US dollar. They're following the past few days. The JPY and the US dollar have been following very similar patterns of movement, and that can be a hindrance because often they move in opposite directions. But I think the pound will start to come back. We've got another 15 minutes, and here it goes. It does look like it's now strengthening again. So we'll just look at this. So certainly the pound driving this trend against the euro back down. So overall, these are not going to be bad trades, I don't think. Our profit margins are going to be massive if these all come in. We're going to be looking at making, right, here we go, the pound strengthening again because we're getting these signals. So this should be good, and also the US dollar starting to weaken, to strengthen as well. So this is looking good for us now. 14 minutes to go. I will, once these are all in the green, I'll add up what sort of profit margin we're looking at. And there we go, the pound starting to strengthen against the yen. So let's just see what we've got here. We're looking at somewhere in the region of, we're going to be looking at somewhere in the region of there's going to be significant profit in this. We're going to be looking at getting close to $1,000 if all of these start to go into the green. So I will work it out in a minute, but hopefully you've all managed to capitalise on some of these. I did make it very clear that I thought the most reliable trade was the Aussie US dollar. We can see the pound has strengthened enough to pull this back into the green just. And I'm hoping this one with the JPY will do the same. These are all in the green, these ones here, so all looking good. And then we've got these ones here as well. So we've got a number of trades placed, and we can see the vast majority of them in the green now. So I'm going to add up what our profit margins will be. Obviously, I've got my accounts in different currencies, so I'm going to round it up as near as I can to total it in US dollars. Okay. and then we'll see what we've got at the end here. So these all in the green as well. The US dollar one, that's back in. We should see the US dollar strengthening up, but I'm really wanting the pound to start strengthening. That's really what we need to happen. The Aussie dollar has started to gain again. We've got another 12 minutes on this, so we really need this pound to start to gain considerably against the yen and the US dollar, which I think it will do. We're right on the verge of where we need to be. Just needs to move up a little bit, and we'll be back in the money. Has started to drop away again now, quite rapidly as well. That's a real shame. Let's just hope it picks up again. The other one's all looking good. As I say, I'm completely honest about the results here, but by and large we do get it right. It'd be a real shame if these start slipping away for us now. So these are all in the green. So we've got plus 40, plus 20. Yeah, and we just need the pound to pull up here. I'm just going to have a look, see if there's any other figures been released since. Yeah, the retail sales figures for Europe are not out yet. If they are negative, then this will strengthen the pound, but I think it could still pull up. We'll just hold on to see what happens with that. These are all in the green. We can see the euro is starting to strengthen, as is the Aussie dollar. So we've still got quite a high percentage of our trades in the green, as we can see. So we're just hoping these will hold on. The pound has started to strengthen a little bit, so we just needed to pull up with these trends here. The US dollar just turned again, so that will keep our Aussie dollar trades in the money. So we'll just see how these pan out over the next 10 minutes. And we can see the US dollar has started to gain now again, so that's pulled us back into the money on the US dollar trades. There we go, you can see that. And they've been following similar patterns. When that US dollar starts to strengthen, so does the pound. So I'm hoping that will be the same. There we go, we can see it's just moving up against the yen now. And we'll probably see it do the same against the US dollar. Here it goes, just moving up. We need it to gain a little more than that though, but certainly the Aussie one's all back in the money now, as are a lot of the Euro GBP trades as well. This one, which we placed a larger trade on, we just need the pound to really strengthen over the next 9 minutes or so, and then we're going to be in a very strong position. We'll just have a look at what we've got in terms of our trade results here. And this is coming down, so I think we're going to be alright on this, and you can see the pound strengthening against the yen, not so much against the US dollar at the moment. And so we've got a signal telling us that the yen's going down, but certainly looking at this chart, it's not. It's doing the opposite. Oh, there was that movement, sudden movement down, and then it carried on going. So, so there we go. So just having a look here, then we've got plus 50. It's just started to drop again. Really inconsistent here. Well, it's telling us that the GBP is strengthening. The US dollar is strengthening, but these charts are showing just about the opposite. I mean, we've got these in a very good position, so we'll just see. We've got a bit of time. It's anyone's guess at the moment as to how these go. Really moving all over the place now, lots and lots of movement, so we've just got to hold on and see how these go, okay, and then we'll add up which ones came in at the end. But at the moment it looks like we're on about 7% success rate. A 70% success rate would mean somewhere in the region of $400 profit for this session. So we can see here that these three are in. So let's just count these up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the money, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the money. So yeah, we're looking at a 70% success rate, and that would be good for us. That would work out for somewhere in the region of $400 profit. So I'll be more than happy with that. Real shame that these ones look like they've just leveled out, but it may be that we've got 6 minutes left, and because there's retail sales figures being released in Europe at 11, we should see the pound start to gain against this before that happens. So let's just keep an eye on it, because there's a good possibility that this will start to come down, and indeed it looks like it is now. So let's just keep a close eye on this, and it may be that they all come in. The pound has started to gain against the yen just slightly. It's not far away. The rate where we placed this was 189.937, and we're actually not far away from that at all. The yen pairings tend to move around a lot more. There's a lot more movement in them, and that means they can come back very quickly as well. But certainly the majority of our trades, which are the Aussie US dollar trades, are all well in the money. So if I could get some feedback. Yeah, so 11 in, 1 out, that's good, Barak. I've got 14 in total, and 10 are in at the moment, but it does look like this pound, the euro US dollar looks out, but the pairing with the euro GBP still looks very good. So this one's in the money. So there we go. Yeah, it's just a shame. The pound US dollar one looks like the dollar's just strengthened to a point where it's pulled that away. But our euro GBP looks good. It'd be great if this one could come in as well, and that would just pull the profit up by about $80. So we'd then be looking at somewhere in the region of $450, $460 as a profit margin. So that'd be a very good result for us. So 4 minutes to go. There's still a good possibility that there'll be a weakness in the euro before that announcement at 11 for the retail sales figures. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And you never know, the pound could strengthen in these others as well. The pound could strengthen against the US dollar as well. We've got enough movement in the Aussie US dollar that can afford to move up a bit, even if it follows the same movement as these as the other pairings. But we'll see. Obviously, the movement of the strength of the US dollar is pulling that trend down, but we do want it to move up slightly against the other ones. So USD Canadian. Well, I was looking at the USD Canadian previously. The problem with it is, Barak, is that there's no expiry times. The brokers aren't offering any expiry times on it. Let me just show you. I did look at it. There you go. Look, it's only offering one expiry time, and that's 2100. And the reason being is they'll know how predictable that is. So I was saying that this one is offering a better expiry time. So I think, Barak, the ones that you can place trades on this, then place them. I thought that would probably be across the board, but I'm going to get these trades placed as well. You're absolutely right. Well spotted. And we're getting signals for the USD Canadian now telling us, there you go, that's only 2300. So on brokers that you can place this trade with the USD Canadian, then do. All right, but a lot of them are not giving the expiry times we want. This one is. So yeah, I would get trades placed on this if you can, okay? But some of the brokers are not. So we've got another two trades placed there, which will put us in even more profit. The US dollar really starting to strengthen against the Aussie. I think the way things are going, it's looking like a very strong day for the US dollar. And we've got, let's just have a look what we've got in the money now. We're just 2 minutes away from our trades expiring. Looks like the GBP USD is out of there. We've got no chance of that coming back. And the GBP JPY, also the yen and the dollar following similar patterns. But let's have a look at our Euro GBP trend. In fact, the euro is now pulling up, but I think it will hold on for our trades to expire, and then we'll assess where we are on this. Okay, I'm going to have a look when they've expired in a couple of minutes. We'll have a look at exactly where we are on these trades. So just have a look. So we're just waiting for. We're coming up 1 minute to go on these trades. Let's just get into a position where we can view these once they're complete. But we can see the vast majority of them still in the money, so it's not going to be a bad profit margin for us, I don't think. So we've got just about a minute to go. Can I get some, yeah, it was 9:15. It was the only broker I could place it on, Barak. Was for 9:15. Okay, you can see here it's already started dipping back, in fact quite a lot, but yeah, I don't think that will last. I think the US dollar will pick up again, so don't worry. As long as you've given it enough time, obviously within reason, then it should be perfectly okay. So just teeing these up so that we can have a look at all the results when they come in. We've got now, we're right on the verge of these expiring, so you can see 3 of these are going to come in. There we go. Oh, it's not showing the expiring positions yet. Here we saw, so there's that USD Canadian. Okay, so we got 2 wins, 2 losses. I'll add these up. I'll add these up, and that equates to I'm just going to add up the profits here. Shall we trade? Let's just have a look at our expired positions. There we go. 3-1-2 loss. Sorry, 3-1-1 loss. So 3 and 1, and that adds up to we're looking at around a $50 profit there. Option rally. Let's have a look at our expired positions on here. So 1. Where are we? 3rd. So 3 wins there. So that's 40, 60, 100s. So we're going to end up well in profit here. Good result to the day. We've still got a USD Canadian trade placed here, which is well in the money. So that one will come in as well. And our USD Canadians, which have got a little longer on them. So 3rd. We've got one loss, but 1 is about to come in. So that means, and it was only a $25 trade. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely right. If you're trying to do this on the same screen, okay, with not a second computer, a second screen, Paul, I think is what you're getting at. Is that right? So if you've got 2 screens set up, all right, you can view the webinar on one screen, view my trades on one screen, and then have your own option bot on the other screen. Absolutely spot on, Paul. Thanks so much for that, because it's something that I meant to mention and I've forgotten. But yeah, absolutely right. If you're trying to view the trades view my trades on the same screen, and then come out of it and go into yours and place your trades, you're going to miss the opportunities. You're not going to be able to follow it. So you do need a second screen. Thanks, Paul. Hopefully that's all clear, and that really will help everyone to follow this a lot better. Even if it's just a tiny screen, you don't need something expensive. Just something to make sure that you've got a second screen to refer to. If you just have my platform open on that smaller monitor and then be doing your own trades on the main one, it will help a lot. Yeah, very true. Thanks, Paul. Lost my train of thought there, but two wins, one loss. So that's 80 minus 25. So we're looking at 55. So we've ended up around $160 in profit, somewhere like that. So not bad for our morning sessions. We've got these USD Canadian trades, which I think will come in. I think the US dollar will turn again. So we'll just have a look at that. Yeah, so these ones still plodding along, and the US dollar will turn and start coming back, I'm sure. So once these come in as well, we'll be in a position where we're well in profit. But at the moment, yeah, it is really dropping, Barak, but I have faith that US dollar is strong enough to pull this back up. Got another 10 minutes or so on that. Okay, so don't worry too much. Okay, one win, one loss, one tie. Blimey, I don't know how you've managed that, Michael. Did you only place the 3 trades? It's not bad profit on 3 trades. That's not bad at all. All right, you know, I placed 20 trades today, so right, okay. Well, we can see that, but just Barrett, going back to the USD Canadian, we can see this is starting to rise again now, and I'm sure it will. All right, I don't worry too much. I don't think this is going to continue with the Canadian gaining. Anyway, I've got to wrap things up. Hopefully it's been beneficial to you. It's not been a bad webinar at all. Very interesting indeed. We've looked at a lot of different angles here to get these to get ourselves into profit here, but it's ended well. So thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again this afternoon, and hopefully we can capitalise on the auto data processing non-farm payroll, which will be really interesting. So I'll see you then. Thank you.